Look how easy that is. And I've tried so many other methods. I've even bought tools online to make this easier. And this by far is like the easiest. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. I have to say, over the years, I've tried many different methods to spool a new reel. And I may have stumbled upon probably the most efficient and effective way to do it. And probably the easiest so far that I've found. What you're going to need is a number 2 pencil, which are super cheap. The longer the better. Rubber band. Some 15-pound trilene big game. This is some really good line for the price. For the multi-tool, we're going to use the scissors. And then, of course, a spinning reel of your choice. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is this rod. This is actually a, this is actually a 2-part rod. So I just took the top part of the rod off. We're just going to use this rod eye here. Now we need our line. Take this sticker off. I'm just going to pull out like 4 feet of it. We're going to set it on the ground. Now we're going to take the end of the line, which in nautical terms is the bitter end. Put it through this eye here. Now we got to tie a knot. So sometimes I tie a bowl end, which is pretty simple. So basically we just make a loop by turning it right. We take the bitter end, pass it through the loop, around the tree, and then back through the loop. It kind of looks like this. Just pull it tight. Now I got this tag here. I'm just going to shorten it. I'm not going to cut it all the way off because then it'll like fail the knot. And this is going to be buried behind a bunch of lines, so I'm not too worried about it. So there we go. We got our standing line, and then we got our loop. And then I'm just going to pull the line through it and kind of create a cinch. Now the rotor turns this way, it turns clockwise. So I'm going to show you how to position the loop so that when you start reeling, it actually grips the spool. So we need it like this. Here's your standing line, and that bail arm is going to grab this line and bend it over the loop, and it's going to lock it in like that. Just like that. I'm going to lay it over the spool just like that. And I'm going to tighten it down. This is what we're looking for. That's kind of how it lies down. Boom. That's what it should look like. So now I'm going to flip the bail, turn it, and now we're ready for the next part. So now with the pencil through our spool, we're going to put it between our big toes. And this might look ridiculous, but this frees up both hands. And what it does is it allows me to apply tension. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. It'll allow me to apply tension to the spool and keep it stationary, which for spooling reels is huge. And I can even move my feet in to tension it like that, and it works out very well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so that's tightened. Now I'm just gonna start reeling my reel, and you can see here on my left hand, I'm just applying some artificial tension until I take up all that slack, and now I can release it, and now we can just start reeling. So I have a little too much tension on the spool, so I'm just going to raise my 2 feet up a little bit and just keep reeling. Now if I raise my feet up, it gets too loose. I don't want it to like be too loose on my reel spool. I want it nice and tight. So I'm going to apply a little bit of tension just like this. And I don't want my drag going off. So if I'm going to put too much tension on my feet, you don't want to reel against drag, especially with mono. So you don't want to hear that. So you want it just loose enough where it's not setting off the strike alert or drag system on your reel. All right. So what we have here, I'm going to stop real quick. We have capacity lines. So I'm just going to take it to the outer capacity line, right about here. I don't want it to go over the spool skirt, because then it might like unravel, especially with mono. Mono's a little bit stiffer. Wish you could see how ridiculous this looks. Look how easy that is. And I've tried so many other methods. I've even bought tools online to make this easier. And this by far is like the easiest. And especially when you're not trying to like film it, it's even easier. Alright, so we're getting kind of towards the end here. See where we're at. We're kind of coming up to this last capacity line. I'm just going to take it right to that. There we go. That's all I need. So I'm just right up to the last capacity line. Just like that. I'll use my phone to take a really good picture of that. Get that real quick. That's what it looks like. That's the gap on the spool skirt. Now I don't want to come too close to the edge of the skirt because especially with mono, it's just going to like fall down and like kind of uncoil itself, and you're kind of, more prone to get some fouling and malfunctions. So that's perfect right there. So all we got to do is cut the line. I'm going to take my left hand, keep that constant tension. I'm going to cut the loose end. I can push out this fishing line spool. And now it's time for our rubber band. But first, I'm going to take this extra line and just wrap it around my spool. Just like that. I'm going to take my rubber band, wrap around the spool. And now our reel is ready to rock and roll. Now you do have like a little line clip right here that I could use as well, but sometimes they pop off, especially on the cheap reels. So I just like using a rubber band to hold my better end down. That's it.